Now on to explaining the need for higher level languages. Well, just cut this. What if I said, all right, figure out this program? Actually, all right, 2, 1, 0. Okay, what if I said, read me that line? What does that line do? Right, of course. But what I meant this to be is A, in the context of characters, B, in the context of characters, and in the context of being between two operands, which happen to be characters, adding them together so that the result I would get would be, well, if I printed it out, it would be, and I think I've made the point of C, right? But that would be ridiculous to have a whole program written in hundreds of thousands and millions of zeros and ones that you had little idea of the context, let alone their meaning. But that's what computers read, right? Ultimately, computers cannot hear my voice. Computers cannot feel this knock. Computers can only receive electrical signals in circuits. Those circuits are then either on or they're off. And those on and offs combine together to make messages in a certain context, which they can work with, and continuing to work with zeros and ones, ultimately have those reconverted back to things that we can interpret, like colors on a screen or pitches through the vibration of a speaker. And so that's as low as it gets. That's machine level language. Well, there are languages, there are assembly languages that would look something like this. Add a, oops, and then maybe we'll just say 2b, store result. And I should have thought a little bit more about some assembler language, but we'll look at it another time. But basically, assembler language, if this is machine code, and this is assembly language, you're going to see what are called tokens. You're going to see individual simple statements that together make up compound events or actions. And so the assembly language is not readable to us. It's just line after line after line after line, and a simple calculator program would have tens of thousands of individual lines. So what we want is a language that resembles our language. So we could, theoretically, our language looks like this. Add A to B and store the result. Being in Canada, lots of trucks, but also please. So polite. But the problem is, what if somebody else came in and said, take the letters A and B, add them together, and store the result? Well, for starters, this is going to be very wordy, and there are also very many variations. Without going any further than this, I think you can appreciate that language as we write it in a book is verbose, this is the word actually, and inexact. It is not necessarily unambiguous. It is not all those things we looked at before. So what we have is a very specific, precise, not too verbose, but not zeros and ones way of communicating where we're going to go. String, whatever is assigned A, string is assigned B, then we can add them together and store them. give them to a string to store. And then we'd write that or whatever. So we have a higher level language that is not quite English. Rather, chainsaws too. Rather, oops, we have a semi-human language which is unambiguous and precise and exact that computers can understand.